Welcome to Parsha with Marika. We finally have the beginning of our personal story as Jews. Our story didn't really begin with Adam or with Noah. The father, the main patriarch of the Jewish people, is Abraham, and this is his story. Now, Parsha's Lecha is so interesting because we don't know who this man is. Obviously, he's great because God's choosing him, and coming to him personally, one-on-one. And the Parsha opens, God comes to Abraham and says, Lecha, me'artzecha, go from your land, from your birthplace, and from your father's house to the land that I'm going to show you. Which is so bizarre, right? Why are we not getting any more inside information on who Abraham is? And why is God saying, all right, pick up and go? And one more thing, we find out a few sentences later that Abraham is 75 years old. I mean, when you think about that, thinking of a 75-year-old just picking up, it seems like somebody's at the end of their life when things are very comfortable, everything is set. Why would you go and be a stranger? Why would you go into the desert, go south from modern day Iraq all the way down to modern day Israel and follow some invisible God that, by the way, you're the only one who believes in this invisible God because everybody else are idol worshipers and need something tangible, and you're believing in some new monotheistic idea that nobody else in the world has signed up for. The whole thing is crazy. Now, there are two big takeaways that I learn from this story. The first one is that change is always possible. And it's one of those core ideas in Judaism, tshuva. Not that Abraham did anything wrong, but if you want to change something about yourself, it's never too late. If a 75-year-old could change, anyone can change. If somebody who comes from a family of idol worshipers where their father is a huge idol dealer can break away and believe in an invisible God that you can't see, touch, feel, hear, have no proof of other than this, inward connection, anything's possible. That can happen too. And if you are going to make such a radical change in your life, you have to get away from the people who know you because they're going to have such a hard time dealing with the fact that you're changing, whether you're changing for the good or for the bad. Change to them will just be foreign and will be weird. And for you to personally grow and become who you want to be, you have to set off on your own journey. You have to be comfortable to break away and to start a new page. And you can't look back. And the only people who can go on that journey with you are the ones who have signed up as well. Otherwise, it won't work. I mean, it's amazing when you think about that. Abraham is setting up on a personal level an incredible new path of change for every person, that every person can have this experience. And this is how you do it. And if you want to be somebody that's different from who you are, go and set out, but don't look back. And we see that Abraham never complains. He never says, oh, life was so much better back in Ur Kasdim. It was so comfortable. I knew everybody. I had all the connections. I was wealthy and everything was just perfect. Never. In fact, Abraham not only doesn't complain, he now looks out for the stranger. He does more chesed, more kindness. He has all the attributes that Judaism admires and, puts on a pedestal. The second thing I learned from this story is that this is not going to be the first time in Jewish history that Jews are told to pick up and go. Unfortunately, this will become our pattern for the next 3,500 years or more, because we know that whether an enemy tells us that we got to go or we fear that something is going to happen, there's danger on the horizon, Jews have had to pick up and move for thousands of years. Hence the term, the wandering Jew. And I think that we also have to realize that if God is telling Abraham, the first Jew, that you got to go, but don't worry, because I'm going to take you there. I'm going to show you this land and everything's going to work out and you're going to be a great nation and I'm going to bless you. Then in the future, every single time that we are kicked out of our land or have to flee our land, when we are very comfortable, we have to remember that this is our story. This is where our story begins. This is how it starts. So there should be something familiar that, yes, it's painful in the moment, but it always ends up working out. Imagine the Jews that were fearing danger and left Europe and came to America. I'm sure it was so hard in the beginning, but then to be here was such a blessing. And I hope that America continues to be a blessing for us. But if for any reason one day it's not, we can't fear our comfort here. We have to always be ready to go, because this is who we are. And we can't look back, and we can't have fear. We have to constantly look forward to new opportunities, new beginnings, and always with the number one attribute of kindness and chesed, because that will allow us to feel good and to give even when we don't have to give. And eventually we will become this greatness that was set out in front of us. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I hope that you continue to watch. Shabbat Shalom.